Good evening, Angus.
Good evening, Luke.
Welcome to Basement Quality Banter episode 12. We've made the 12.
Quite an auspicious number.
It is. A little stat update for our two YouTube subscribers. 445 Spotify impressions, 116 views on YouTube. And our Facebook members group is actually doing all right at 127 members posting and sharing rubbish with us. So, look, I don't think that's too bad considering we're doing it for the love of shit posting and gas bagging. So, have you got a beer that you're drinking this evening?
Yep, got the last of my beers I got from Working Title, the Assault Jungle, which is a bourbon barrel aged Russian Imperial Stout.
Lovely.
So another big boy when it's school night.
I'm having the Running Wild double dry hopped IPA from Seeker.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
7%, so not too bad for a double dry hop. How is your Russian Imperial bourbon barrel aged?
It's good. Everything you expect. It's uh, really oily porter into the glass, and yes, heaps of bourbon and chocolatey, stouty, roasty stuff, all that good stuff.
Now you've got to tell me what were the Lock, Stock, and Four Smoking breweries pack like from Working Title and
That's good.
their other breweries.
Yeah, the I enjoyed the black and red IPAs. The red IPA was pretty good. Nice and malty and bags of pine. So that was quite nice. The black IPA was really nice as well. I found the other two a bit sweet. Um, for me anyway, like if you like that stuff, pretty good example. I think which one did I have last? The just looking it up. The cherry ripe pastry stout. That was way too much for me. I felt like I was getting diabetes with every sip.
Yeah,
But that's just a me thing. I don't really have a sweet tooth, so
good interpretation of the flavors, though. Do you think?
yeah, the cherry wrap was really nice. And what was the other one?
Right?
Coconut rough. Yeah, there was some good coconut in that. If they're going for like the real old school coconut rough biscuit lolly that was around in the 90s, um, I don't think I really got that, but certainly there was coconut in there. That was quite a nice blend. Look, that was a little bit sweet for me, but the cherry ripe one was just way over the top for my palate.
Yeah. Great looking pack, great looking beers, good collabs,
Yeah,
pick of cards. Yeah. I
yeah,
um
I got my cards there.
I like we did a great job of advertising to ourselves last week. The I've ordered the on the Terps, the Mountain Culture bent spoke beer that had a Facebook Live event tonight at 6 o'clock with Sam from Bintani, who's their terpene expert. But they haven't arrived from Canberra yet, my beers. So I sort of missed on the tie up with that. But I guess that's what happens when you order from Canberra. Then they're not going to get here in time. But I'm still really keen to try that. It's a terpene black IPA. So uh, if I do get it, I'll probably try and keep one for next week's um, potty so I can try it on the air. This one's really nice. It's lots of fruit flavor, lots of bitterness, a bit of pine. Um, Says it uses Nelson Sauvin, which is, of course, one of my favorite hops. Mosaic, Cascade. Um, yeah, look, that's a really nice drop. I think a lot of the Seeker stuff's really good. We just don't see too much of it up here in Queensland, unless Ben supplies us with it.
Yeah, it's got a couple of my favorite IPA hops anyway, Mosaic and Cascade. Cascade's a banger. It's just a classic hop from 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Like it's always been there in any really good IPA.
Yeah, yeah. And
A lot of love for the old school.
yeah, I've actually got a Cascade Rhizome, US Cascade Rhizome, but apart from the first year, I haven't got it big enough to bud. But it's always nice to have fresh hops in the backyard, and you can just sprinkle them on your beer and get a bit of that lupulin on there. And um, yeah, but I know some. I've got some friends who have got proper hop trellises in their backyards, which is pretty impressive. So
Yeah, one of my mates grew some hops. Might have been Cascade,
mm,
and yeah, he got like I don't know, like 9 or 10 um, buds, cones, whatever they are, cones,
yep,
and we just threw in the beer we're drinking, just to throw them straight in the beer. So we're just drinking around the hop. That was pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. It's always fun. I was at Brisbane Brewing Co. and it was the Walker Texas Ranger or whatever they call that. I think it's just a Walker IPA now, and they just opened some fresh hops, and I had a schooner, and we just sprinkled a few cones at the top of that at the same time. It was amazing. Yeah.
I remember years ago on one of the Babs crawls, we ended up at Green Beacon for I think it was the third venue. It was probably about 11:30 in the morning,
Mm,
and they had a randall running with a whole bunch of hops in this randall.
yeah.
And I've been planning on starting out nice and low and slow and gentle, and then easing into it. But how often do you see a randall in action? So I think that was the third beer I had.
Yeah.
And I couldn't taste anything else for like another 2 or 3 venues.
Yeah.
Just absolutely screwed my palate. It was delicious, but absolutely ruined me.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and don't if anyone is brewing with incognito, don't let them just try a little bit of that, or they won't taste anything for a week. The liquid hop extract, it'll just that's a going joke at a brewery. Here, try this, just a little drip, and yeah, that'll fry their fry their taste for a week or so. That stuff. Yeah. So
Uh,
speaking of the basement quality banter community, we got sent a fantastic story from Caesar, who we unfortunately both know very well. And he sent us about a great article about beer exports to China. With the US tariff war, there seems to be a really good opportunity for West Coast breweries to get their craft into Asia. You were saying that there's a founder of a craft beer company in what is it? Mikai Brewery, beverage
yeah,
co-founder
Miko, but
Christopher Lee has been managing the distribution and marketing for Rocky Ridge in China, and a handful of other breweries. And we know that some of the other breweries like Shelter are looking into the Asia region. So I think it's really cool. Rocky Ridge, we've mentioned a few times on here being super sustainable, and I guess the shipping to Asia is pretty much the same as shipping to the east coast of Australia like in
probably, yeah.
travel miles. And that's probably the only way that the best way for China and Asia to get as fresh as possible beers from Australia would be the exporting from those West Coast breweries.
Yeah, that was one of the articles I was reading. I think it was who was the second brewery you mentioned?
Shelter.
Sheldon. I think it was the founder of them was saying just seems a real shame that they don't get the same advantages for exporting that the wine industry has. There just needs to be zero support for exporting beer
Yeah, well,
and
that's
almost zero incentive as well, where you
wine.
don't get any financial benefits or
Yeah, Wine Australia gets $20 million a year from the government to support them and build that Wine Australia brand. And Beer Australia would be something that we'd love, um, but it's not. I guess it doesn't travel as well as wine, so maybe it doesn't have um, that market cut through. But it would be really cool if we could get some support for beers that are stable enough to travel. So you're probably not going to have all your fresh hops and really hoppy beers and all that. You're probably going to go with some really classic lagers, maybe some big stouts, something that
yeah.
they might not necessarily have. It'd be really cool to get some of those beers, and in China and Asia, I guess more so, you want some really good craft lagers. A lot of their market is macro lager, but it'd be really cool to have some flavorful lagers, or even you could go with a cold IPA or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens in that area. Um, I think the longer that the tariffs go on, the easier sale it would be for Australian beers to get in there, where they're not penalised straight away just for buying something.
Yeah, absolute nonsense, that whole tariff thing. Um, so yeah, look, a great opportunity. I hope it works out for all of those people, and that sort of partly flows into the second story about mountain culture, who put an update out last week, and it was about the Fox Friday Perth site that they've let go, and because it was basically they've got enough on their plate, to be honest, and they've and Rocky Ridge, who we just mentioned, have taken over or will be taking over that site. So that's huge for Rocky Ridge. I don't know how they'll go with their sustainability mantra. They've probably got a bit of work to do, considering how much they've put in financially into the small site. So really good opportunity for them to get that site, though. Really, really cool to see how that goes in Perth. It's which was before it was Fox Friday. It was the original Blaster site, I think. So
Yeah,
Blaster moved up, Fox went in there, and then Mountain Culture bought Fox, and now yeah, Rocky Ridge are going to take it over. So hopefully a bit of stability for that venue and that community as well.
yeah, it's turning into a bit of a Rocky Ridge episode.
That's not a bad thing. They're doing pretty cool stuff. Um, all mountain culture. The last couple of we've been mentioning them a few times. And then they just gave a little bit of the explanation around the Carwin Cellars sale back to the Carwins. I thought it was worded really nicely that as an institution, Carwin have it was really good to sell back to them, and they've just released individual Instagram sites for each of their venues, and they've got the keys now. So they're going to open up Mountain Culture Melbourne at the old Fox Friday. I think it was Richmond site, and of course what they're doing with Hobart, it'll be Mountain Culture Hobart and the Moona Bottle Shop there. So um, they've still got a lot on with Mountain Culture Redfern, Emu Plains, Katoomba, the collab with Wildflower in Marrickville, and now Melbourne, Hobart, and the Hobart Cellars. So, look, I've seen a lot of commentary saying, are they setting up to be bought out, like overextending themselves to buy market share so they can be bought out by one of the big players? Honestly, I don't think any of the two international uh, big brewers are interested in buying any more brands. They're consolidating all the brands that they've got at the moment, and I don't think there's money there. I can't see that, and nor can I see Mountain Culture necessarily selling. But I've thought that about Stone and Wood and things like that as well. But
Yeah, I think if someone dangles enough money in front of you, it's always worth a decision.
yeah, I just
I don't know if they've got the market penetration that Stone and Wood had,
no,
where even before they sold it, they were everywhere. You could buy it anywhere. Whereas I don't think Mountain Culture has that penetration. Certainly up north, like I don't often see Mountain Culture up here on tap or packaged or anything.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm
But
not sure about the sale to the majors. That doesn't seem to have the instant national reward that those guys normally look for.
no, well, status quo winning Gabs last, was it 3 years in a row? That's done a lot, and they must be expanding at an enormous rate just to keep up with demand for all of these venues, at least. Um, some people have commented that pretty much the same as we'd love to see the financials, but the most important thing is we wish nothing but the best for them. it's just a bit scary how big and how quick they're going. And
Yeah.
I hope it works out and doesn't fall over like something like Fox Friday that went really big, really quick too. And then we found out that one of the investors was doing dodgy stuff, which sort of ruined their dream, which is really disappointing for all of those Fox Friday people. And um, I hope Mountain Culture and Rocky Ridge are going to be able to, and even Carwin are able to support some of that team. So keep them on and keep them brewing and keep them in jobs. So um, I hope we haven't lost all of that Fox Friday talent as well, I guess.
Yeah. Uh,
Your thoughts on that? No?
None.
No. Um, so you've also mentioned that Crafted Beer Festival on the Gold Coast has already started doing its marketing for September.
Yeah, I got an email the other day. I went to the original or the first one that had down the um, Gold Coast. I was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it. Um, that live music going the whole day, and then it's probably about 15 brewery stands there. I haven't been back since. It's a bit hard to get down the coast and then get back home again or stay down there.
Yeah,
But yeah, the first event I really enjoyed it.
I've heard a lot of punters and a lot of brewers think it's one of the better ones, better festivals to go to. I haven't been to Crafted yet though.
Yeah, I seem to remember. I think the first year I was talking to I can't remember who it was, someone at one of the brewery stands, and they were saying that um, they took the least cut from sales from the stands. It's like Gabs and a couple other festivals took a fair cut out of sales and merchandise, and
It's like 50% of
so
sales or something on the day, something huge
yeah,
like that. Plus paying for the stand.
the side as well. Yeah, it's good business if you can keep it up, I guess.
Yeah, I you know um, not many people are getting out drinking in venues, so festivals festivals might be the
Yeah,
way to sort of get some of that money back in, I guess.
yeah. When we talked about Gabs being half the size this year, so
Mm,
either breweries aren't seeing the value in getting to Gabs or aren't willing to spend the money.
yeah, no, pretty tough. And how did your brew day go on Sunday?
Yeah, it's good. Um, yeah, I hit all my numbers. I was down on volume by about 4 or 5 liters, but yeah, I don't really sweat that at a home brew level. As long as I'm hitting my gravity numbers and just got to adjust the hop rates on the fly a little bit if you're significantly down on volume.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did a 5 minute steep at Whirlpool with the lemon myrtle. Um,
did it smell amazing?
yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was interesting when I pulled it out, I just on a little strainer and pulled it out and left it next to my brew kettle,
mm,
and had to smell a bit later, and like the fragrance had really dropped off,
yep,
and I was kind of it had gone like a little bit like not bitter tea, but kind of tanniny or like the smell
mhm,
of it.
yep,
I'm like, oh, I'm glad I pulled out before I started doing that.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. You got to
yeah,
be quick with that one, but it sounds good. Really keen to try that one.
yeah.
Any
So I'll
more?
probably put that on for ferment tomorrow.
Nice. Well, it's nice and cool, so you should get nice, cool temps. Have you got a glycol jacket or?
Yeah, I've got a glycol jack. Oh, I've got a like a one of those thermo wraps from the US,
Yeah,
like a jacket that you run glycol through.
yeah,
So I've got one of the Kegland 50 liter keg fermenters. Just have that jacket wrapped around it. I
yeah,
may have to look into getting a heating belt or a heating wrap.
yeah,
I don't know if my shed's going to be warm enough to keep the yeast up and doing its thing once it starts dropping activity a little bit. I've had that with the last batch I made where the activity dropped off and the temperature dropped, and then I lost that last kind of 3 or 4 points on the beer. So I might have to look at getting a fermenter wrap to
Yeah.
heat to warm it up a little bit.
You're using Belgian yeast as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used Mangrove Jacks
Mm.
dry that dry Belgian yeast on a triple, and that was really nice.
Okay.
And it was less cost than getting liquid yeast. I'll just use that. Don't have to spin up a starter, just rip them off, chuck it in.
Yeah. Shake and bake.
Yeah, so I used those again. That gave me pretty good results last time.
If it gives you the results, go for it. Yeah. No, that
Yeah,
sounds really
yeah.
cool. But it's a bit of a warmer temp. What does it want? 17 plus sort of.
Yeah, with my triples, I like starting them off at 18 just to
Yeah.
build the youth population up, and then I'll generally kind of let it free rise up until about 22 or 23,
Yep.
and then towards the end, I like getting up to about 25, just so it really finishes off those last few points and does a good cleanup of
Diet
all the
Chris.
youth byproducts and stuff.
Yeah. No, that
So
sounds
it's
good. Hopefully you can get it
so
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be interesting to see how that turns out. On probably end up trying a bottle maybe 2 months in to see what it's like, just because I'm excited about it.
I'm keen to the lemon myrtle. Keen to try that with the Belgian triple. I think it's two flavors, and I think it's going to really work well.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Alrighty, and we'll move on to sport F1. Um, you mentioned the Alonso call.
It's pretty funny. It's just so funny. His his engineer came over the radio and said, "Oh, we'll take it slow into turns 3 and 8." And his instant response was, "Ah, we're racing, not testing."
Yeah,
Just funny stuff.
yeah, yeah, really cool.
There was there's a good bit of radio chat going on during the race.
Yeah, yeah. Norris went for a gap that wasn't there. Um, he admits it was his mistake. Um, I don't think there's anything bad with that. Good to see Kimi get his first podium.
Hmm.
The Mercedes were dialed all in. So look, it's getting interesting. I think I saw a really cool post that if George gets into a tangle with Verstappen, Verstappen is suspended. It actually means he can get out of his Red Bull contract if he gets a
Yeah.
suspension. And we know that George doesn't have a contract for next year. It might open the door for Verstappen to go to Mercedes
Yeah.
if George takes out Verstappen or fights with Verstappen, so he could actually um, lose his seat by having a tangle with Verstappen. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it on purpose though, would you? Maybe.
No, he doesn't want to lose his seat, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Toto might tell him to get in, get in front of Verstappen, and yeah, get into a bit of hassle there. So that could be a lively addition, but no, really enjoying it. I still think it's Oscar's year, but I think more so now than anyone, everything you can't win it unless you're putting it on pole. Basically, I think qualifying
Yeah, that
is
was pretty
so
obvious.
important this year. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty obvious this year. Yeah, Pasture is fighting pretty hard. He seems to be burning through tires pretty quick. I don't know if that was the same with all the drivers because I only watched the 30 minute, so I don't really get the full view of it. But he seemed to be burning through his tires a lot faster than other drivers.
yeah.
Is that kind of due to him being in traffic? Normally he's out the front and he seems to manage his tires pretty well, but is that something due to being back in traffic and not getting as much cold air?
Yeah, he's not got the clean line, and there's not that cold air going over them. I think as it warms up, you know, um, it will be interesting to see the Mercedes. Mercedes aren't usually that good when it heats up, but maybe they've sorted that issue out. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Very interesting. Uh, Also, Super Rugby, the Pacifica finals coming up.
Yeah, I got the Saturday. Yeah, that's after our rugby festival.
Yeah,
That's it. I think it's 5 o'clock or 5:30 on Saturday afternoon. The rugby finals are on. So two New Zealand teams again.
surprise.
Surprise, yeah. But Brumbies gave it a crack, but they got simply outplayed in the semis. Just chalk and cheese. Um, but I mean, pleasingly, there were the Reds were in the quarters and Brumbies got through to the semis, so um, seem to be improving. So hopefully, we'll keep seeing keep seeing improvement.
And they just named a 25-man squad for a Fiji test too today.
Yeah, I didn't actually read the team yet. Yeah, so Certain Rugby have been busy this week, so they've named the test squad. They've announced they're doing I can't remember what it's called, but national rugby comp in September.
Hmm.
So the four Australian clubs will end up playing each other again, which sounds good when you first hear the idea, but it seems like it'll just be the same players that are playing now and the teams just playing in September
Yeah,
versus having kind of like a second tier national comp where you're exposing more players to a higher standard and building that real big squad of quality players. So it seems to be that it's just going to be the same state
yeah.
playing against each other in.
I think they're using it to build the British Lions squad because they said that this 25 squad for Fiji is not going to be the same 40 squad that they pick for the British Lions tour. So maybe that's got something to do with it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good to see them bring back the I think it's called National Rugby Comp that ended up finishing up because of COVID.
Mm,
But that was kind of a fairly genuine second tier competition where you had the state players playing in Super Rugby and then a whole bunch of guys playing in this National Rugby comp.
yeah.
So, kind of exposing them to a higher standard of players across Australia and kind of building that player base. So it'd be good to see that come back again but there's a gap in, there's a level in between club rugby or suburban rugby and state and national rugby.
Now, the Australians jersey sponsor is Cadbury. Now, we always had Cadbury as a derogatory term when we were playing football when we were kids, you know, because you couldn't drink it. It'd only take you a glass and a half and you were gone.
Glass and a half. Yeah.
Is there any relation to why Cadbury sponsor our
I don't
national
know.
rugby team, even though it's an
Who
English
should
company?
who should we get to sponsor us?
Vegemine's
Um,
Australian again, maybe.
yeah. Is it
It's made
is
with
it still Australian?
no, it's we
Is
bought it back. Bega bought it back.
okay.
Yeah,
I missed that one. I remember it being sold overseas. That's why I was
yeah.
asking.
Kraft had it. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Bega have it back now. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny when you see them wearing Cadbury on the jersey, and we used to pick on people and call them Cadbury. So, yeah, yeah. And did you watch the Origin last night?
I did watch the Origin last night. Yeah, it was much more even game. The first game, just in New South Wales, were running it up hard, tackling hard. They were fully committed in the Reds. Queensland just didn't seem to have that same intensity, but the game last night, it was a lot more intense from both sides. A few more big shots, which is what you watch Origin for.
Yeah. Look, I think New South Wales might have a better team. I think the penalties helped Queensland in the first half for sure, uh,
Absolutely. Yep.
but still a cracking game. Um,
Yeah.
I'd love to see. Also, like, I feel sorry for Lomax with the kicking duties because Cleary was obviously injured. My Tigers halfback Luai didn't do himself many favors for the Blues. He made quite a few mistakes, kicking out on the full and things like that. So that was
Yeah,
that didn't help them. But we also saw some brilliance from the Queensland side and some really positive attitude in the first half. So uh, I'm glad with the result. I'm glad it's gone to a final in Sydney. The rain probably helped us a bit too, but we would have to play a phenomenal game to beat New Zealand, to beat New South Wales in the final. I think.
in
I
in
think
Sydney as well.
yeah, I think they're a stronger team across the park. Tom did and had a good game, but his defence, I think all three tries of Toto were pretty much Tom Dearden's missing his assignment out there. So I really think that they've either got to move Dearden in his defensive position or drop him. So it'll be interesting
Yeah,
to see. Um, Looking forward to it, actually. I hope it's a good, tough game. You know, the forwards were really, Liam Martin and Tino were really going for it. And it was a great game of footy. Good on Perth, 60,000 in the wet. Great crowd. Looked like it had a good atmosphere. So,
yeah, and it was pissing down as well. It wasn't just a
oh,
bit of rain; it was belting down.
and they were still all sitting in the seats too. Like, yeah, good on them
Yeah,
for putting through it. And yeah, well, the under 19s is actually on at the moment, played up at the Sunshine Coast. They had the women's on earlier. New South Wales won that, and the boys are on at the moment. So that's a really good platform for those young ones who sometimes they've gone from Australian schoolboys and some of the female team looking to try and get into the NRLW. So having the state of origin under 19s is a really good chance for them to get seen and move up. So they just had who was it? Xavier Coates's little brother. He's playing on the wing for the under 19s Queensland. Looks just like his older brother, except he's got a
yeah,
huge mullet, and
mullet,
yeah,
I guess.
he's you know he's going to be exciting to play to watch in the next few years. So yeah, no, very cool. Did you have anything else? Oh, you've got your Puffing Dragons Festival on Saturday, which I won't make because I'm working, of course. Um,
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm looking forward to that. So it kicks off at 12:30. I'm not sure when the first game is. I assume it must be around 1 o'clock or so, but they'll probably normally have three games, and then they'll have a Barbarians game, which is basically whoever is still able to play rugby at that time. Because we're old and
yeah,
people get bashed around and we're tired, and some people are hitting the beers early. So probably end up being three games in that Barbarian game at the end.
yep,
Yeah, so there's that. We got it's like jumping castles and face painting, and we got raffles going during the day.
yep, yeah. Cup
It's a
ceremony.
pretty,
Just like a great day out for the family by the sound of it.
yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. Yeah.
Dragging your kids along.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't actually talked to Anna yet. I don't know if she's got work on the Saturday or not, but yeah, I'll drag them along.
Yep, they got to support dad, watch him play,
Well,
score
the only other
some tries.
time they came and watched me last year was the last game of the season was a festival as well,
Yeah.
and I got knocked out in the last game.
Do you wear headgear?
No, no, I've never have, and that's the first time I've ever been knocked out or had any kind of head problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was trying to pass a ball over someone's head, and the guy tackled me from the front. I just fell all the way back onto my head. Next thing I knew, I kind of woke up and there's two of my guys who walking me across the field. I'm
Yeah,
like, what happened?
yeah.
So I don't know if having the family there is bad luck or well, it's just bad timing. But
Uh,
anyway, it was
yeah,
fun.
I used to wear headgear, but I don't think it helped much. Yeah. No, no, that all sounds really cool. Thanks for the chat. Good luck for the weekend. Hopefully my on the terps will arrive so I can try that next week on the potty. Thank you everyone for who's been listening, and we'll see you next week if not on the Facebook page the Facebook group in between.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Luke. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, bye.